Example, after the terrible situation occurred in Charlottesville, President Trump decided to give a speech on how he plans on improving infrastructure. During that speech, there was a tiny little component of it that I think a lot of people missed. And luckily, Jonathan Larson, who is the TYT news editor, brought it to my attention. So Obama in 2015 had signed an executive order known as the Federal Flood Risk Management Standard. And it essentially indicates that any type of government, federal government infrastructure project or building project would have to meet certain standards to help prevent severe damage due to severe flooding. Well, Donald Trump decided to come in and say, nah, I don't like it. He wants to scrap it. The Obama era rule gave federal agencies 3 options to flood-proof new infrastructure projects. They could use the best available climate change science. They could require that standard projects like roads and railways be built 2 feet above the national 100-year flood elevation standard, and critical buildings like hospitals be built 3 feet higher, obviously because of raising water levels, right? Or they could require infrastructure to be built to at least the 500-year flood plan. The order did not regulate private development. But Republicans kept complaining about it. Oh my God, this is gonna hurt businesses. This is gonna be too expensive. Well, what do you wanna do? Because right now we have rising sea levels. We have extreme weather conditions. We're not doing anything about climate change. We just pulled out of the Paris Climate Agreement. And so we're gonna have more and more of these floods. And so how does it make any sense to scrap this executive order by Obama? The only reason why Trump wanted to do it is because he just wants to do the opposite of anything Obama did. No rhyme, no reason, no logic.
So there's a couple of elements to this. Number one, Republicans always complain about regulation. Well, that's regulation. You know why? When another piece of regulation is in areas prone to earthquakes, like in California, you make the buildings, to the best of your ability, earthquake proof, so that they don't immediately crumble when you get hit with an earthquake. And you make them be able to withstand stronger and stronger earthquakes. Now, if you don't have that regulation in place, earthquakes will hit and thousands of people will lose their lives when the buildings crumble. In this case, in areas that flood, you need these kind of regulations. So when they say, oh, we're against regulations, that means I'm not thinking. And the rule that Trump passed was, for every new regulation that's passed, you have to take away 2 regulations. Think about how blindingly stupid that is. I'm not going to consider what the regulation is. I'm not going to look at, hey, does that one make sense? Does that one not make sense? How much does it cost? What is the benefit? I'm just against it. Against what? It depends on the specifics. So we don't yet know whether the government did enough after the storm. But what the entire rest of the media is missing is what the government didn't do enough before the storm. Whether it's regulations like that or fighting climate change in the first place. So this administration has done nothing to help the people of Houston avoid this mess in the first place. So we have William Brock Long, who's an administrator of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA. He said, quote, "We have not seen an event like this. You could not draw this forecast up. You could not dream this forecast up." That's actually not true. Scientists have been telling you for decades now that exactly these kind of severe storms would happen. And when they did, Republicans came in, and yes, they are Republicans who are guilty. Let's not mince words. The mainstream media won't tell you that. No, I can't tell. One side is against doing something about climate change. The other side wants to do something. This one is clear. Some issues are not clear. This one is absolutely clear. So when severe storms hit, it is Republicans that are at fault for blocking any action on climate change. So the scientists told you this would happen, and what did Republicans do? They brought in snowballs to the Senate and said, oh, it still snows, let's not do anything. Well, you don't do anything, and then you get storms like this. So the good people of Houston, we're going to try to help you because we actually believe in working together. We think that's the whole point of government. That doesn't mean that government can't do anything wrong. We think government does a lot of things wrong. One of the things they did wrong was they left you out there all by yourself. They didn't do any action ahead of time to make sure the storms didn't get this severe. And that was Republicans who did that. So know who caused this to you. Anyone who tells you otherwise is just, they're abdicating their responsibility. They'll say we're biased. No, those are facts. That is science. So when you call it neutral, oh, I can't tell, was it Republicans or Democrats? Well, you're not a journalist. You're a neutral, Pravda reading news actor. whose job is to say, I don't know the news. I don't know facts. I don't know science. Gee, which side wanted to do something about climate change? Which side didn't? I can't figure it out. If you can't figure it out, you shouldn't work in news. We know what went wrong here. And by the way, Abbott added one last thing that was weird. He's the governor of Texas, and I got no love for him. He's in the same exact boat as other Republicans. But as Trump is going to come visit somewhere way away from Houston, legitimate point about, hey, we don't want him to interfere in the research operations. Is a big deal when the president comes in and a lot of preparation. That's totally fair. He also had, I didn't say this, Abbott said it. He also said that he will not be getting into harm's way. So make sure that, I mean, it's raining out in Houston. So look, he doesn't live in those homes. The homes already got flooded, and they're going to get flooded worse. There's no harm that Trump could get into, but just be careful. Donald doesn't want to get into harm's way. For God's sake, at least go to the Situation Room. At least pretend to get involved. If you like the Young Turks, you'll love Young Turks membership.